Good morning, YouTube. DJ Dre back on the set for another episode of the Money Mix. I hope you enjoyed that mix this morning over there on the DJ side, that DJ set. Once again, I like to start the mornings off with that hot early morning DJ set just to get you in the mood to sell some stocks. But now we back over here at the money table, and we're going to check in on our investments last week, what we did. We just starting out on this channel, just starting out with new investors, people just coming into the market for possibly the first time. Even if it's not your first time, just getting y'all informed, teaching y'all a little bit more about the stock market, trying to keep it as simple and as easy as possible. Make sure you read my disclosure down below before you get into this channel. I'm not a professional, but I do give you some amateur advice that can make you professional money. All right, so let's get right into it today. Today we're going to start off, if you remember, in one of the earlier episodes, I introduced an app to y'all called Magnify, and that's a particular app that I like to use to help me with my stock picking. It's an AI-powered app and gives you a lot of good information. You know, currently today, I'm just going to ask the app real quick, how is the stock market doing today? Basic questions, basic general questions, and it's going to generate an answer for me, you know. There goes the answer. And this is one thing I like about this particular app because it's a real-time AI app. It says today the market is open but showing a slight pullback across major indexes. S&P 500 is down. The Dow Jones is roughly down 1%. You know, it gives you a broad idea of what the day is looking like so that you can make informed investment decisions. This dip comes amid ongoing concerns around political and regulatory pressure on banks, especially JP Morgan Chase, which has been in the news for issues like credit card rates, caps, and legal threats. These factors are weighing on financial stocks and broadening the market settlement. So this particular app, you know, that's what I love about it. I'm not sitting here trying to tell y'all that I am an investment guru, that I'm a professional, but I use the tools that's out here in today's world, especially AI, because AI will go through the market just like that. You ask it a quick question and it's going to zoom and it's going to take you through the market real quick and give you information and give you bullet points that you would not normally would have gotten that fast, because that's one thing about the stock market. It's about speed. It's about fast. You know, here's a quick snapshot of today's market moves. SPY, DIA, QQQ, they're all down about 1.10%. You know, so that's letting you know about the market. Then I will also go to my stock app and I'll look at the overall market. Here you see the NASDAQ is down 300 points. The Dow is down 587 points. So this is a down day. This is definitely a down day. All three major indexes are down today. So we're going to shoot over to our portfolio and see what our portfolio is doing. Of course, you remember we jumped in here last week. Now, actually, on a down day, we are actually up today, which is very surprising. Normally, when all three markets are down, your portfolio is going to be down as well. So what that says to me is we made some good picks last week. I'm not sure if you tuned in to the episode on Monday, but I sold Apple. I sold two stocks. I sold Apple and I sold Walmart based on information that I was getting from my research, information that I was getting from my app Magnify, and I picked up AMD and I picked up SanDisk. Now, if you could look at those two stocks right there, AMD is up 2.77% and SanDisk is up 8.05%. The reason why I picked those two stocks up and sold Walmart and sold Apple, because they were lagging. They were lagging in my other portfolio as well. Actually, Apple had been kicked out. I'm going to show you Apple real quick. Apple down today 1.83%. And I switched Apple out for AMD, which is up 2.83%. So that was a good move. Now, it's just a day. It's just a few days. Don't get excited at all. We're in this for the long run. I'm sure this day that we're having will probably slightly come down and may even come down during the course of the day, because normally when the market is doing as bad as it is today overall, you know, if your stocks are still in the green, which 3 out of the 4 are in the green, and actually Google is on its way up to become positive. So this is a pretty good day for our particular portfolio. Google right now is at 326 at the low today. We were down as much as 318, and this is climbing the ladder, trying to get back in the game, trying to get on the positive side of things alongside the other stocks that we invested in. So we're right now, we are at 1021.85. The high we had for the day was as much as 1028. So we are beginning to drop just a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if we had even greater pullback today, because the market is doing so bad overall. But it is encouraging to see that we're not in the red, because earlier today, this is a one-day graph. Earlier today, if you can look at where I'm putting my finger at, we were down 900 at the lowest point, $966. So we were down $38, 3.89% this morning, 4:40 in the morning. Nothing we can do about that, because that's before the market opened. And if you remember what I told you in my other episode, a retail investor, you know, we can't trade overnight. We just got to sit back and watch and see what happens overnight. But sometimes it's a good thing, because overnight it actually began to come back up. And by the time the markets opened at 9:30, we were still at a low, but had came up to $986. Right now we're up to 1020, so we got a good bounce, a good rebound on today's lows. And if you can see, we're starting to tick down as we speak. This is live. We're starting to tick down as we speak. And I do believe we probably will fall off a little bit, but it's very encouraging to see that the stocks that we do have are up for the most part on such a negative day. Okay, with that said, one thing that I want to let you guys know about is when you put a stop loss on an individual stock, and I'm gonna take probably Google for instance. Let me see what Google's low was. Yeah, Google came down pretty much overnight. We were actually down 3.72%. What I'm trying to get at is that if you put a stop loss in, and we do have stop losses on Google, we have stop losses on MU, and when you put a stop loss in, and our stop loss is -6%, even if you go below -6% after hours, the market will not kick you out, because as retail traders, we can't do anything after hours. So you would think that the market would kick you out, but actually it doesn't. And sometimes that can work to your advantage, because the market will tick back up before 9:30 when the market actually opens up, and it will tick back out. So had it kicked you out when it was at its lowest point, which is -6%, we would have actually lost money, because we wouldn't have been able to recapture those gains as it came back up to 9:30. Now, when the market opened up at 9:30, if it's still below our -6% threshold, then it will kick us out. Fortunately, we were not kicked out last night when Google was at its low, -3.8%, but I believe our return at that particular time was lower, our total return. let me give you an idea of what I am saying here. If you look here, Alphabet Class A. Let me bring up my other screen so you can see that. Alphabet Class A stop loss. We put that in January 13th. Okay, I'm going to click that. And we entered a stop price at $318. So we will be kicked out of Apple. We will trigger a sale once Alphabet, which is Google. You may be a little bit confusing. Alphabet Class A is actually the ticker symbol for Google. Once it gets to 318, the market, Robinhood, will trigger a stop loss sale and we will be out. Now, I go back up to their chart. They were actually 4:40 a.m. this morning when we were in the bed sleep. Apple fell below 318. It was actually at 317.30 at 4:50 a.m. If I put my finger there, it'll tell me exactly where it was at that time. So why didn't it trigger a stop loss? It didn't trigger a stop loss because retail traders, when the market closes at 4 p.m. and until it opens up again at 9:30 a.m., and that's weekdays, and all throughout the weekend, the market is closed. We as retail traders cannot trade. Unfortunately, we are stuck and limited until the market opens. Now, there are some exceptions, but for the most part, us retail traders got to sit back on the sideline and watch what happens to our money until 9:30. Now, this actually was a good thing because had it kicked us out at 317, right now it's back up to 326. So we would have lost all of that uptick in our portfolio. Instead of it being right now at a plus 20 rate around $20, we probably would have been down possibly or somewhere around 105, 107 instead of at 118. We would have been down a lot more than we are now. We're actually up a little bit. But as you can see, we are starting to tick down. And I expect us to tick down today because of how bad the market is doing. But I'm actually very encouraged because we are actually up on such a down day. So tomorrow the market will most likely bounce back. When you have such a bad day like this, the following day, people like to get in, they like to buy the dip, and the market normally rebounds, and our portfolio as well we rebound. So if we didn't do bad on a bad day, come tomorrow, which should be a good day, we should be up even more. So that's one thing I wanted to let you guys know about the stop loss and how the actual stop losses work in our favor sometimes when they don't kick us out overnight, and how they'll work for us at 9:30 once the market opens up. Had we been below 318 at 9:30, it would have then triggered a sell and we would have been out of that stock. And by my rules, once we are out, I technically cannot enter back in until the following Monday. I like to keep an eye on that stock and see what that stock is doing before I jump right back in if it kicks me out. Now, Google, on the other hand, is such a high performer on my other portfolios, doing so well. I might not wait an entire whole week before I get back in. Certain stocks like SanDisk, if we got kicked out of that, I would definitely pause and wait a week, or not maybe quite a whole week, but wait till the following Monday and see how that stock was performing before I pull the trigger to get back in or buy something else. So I'm hoping I'm not going too fast for you guys. I'm hoping I'm not confusing anybody out there. Let me know what you think in the comments. Definitely like, definitely subscribe, definitely hit that notification bell, man. We up 3 times a week now, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We checking in on our portfolio, seeing how it's doing. We making trades, we giving out suggestions, and we also keeping an eye on our watch list. Our watch list today, if you can see it now, Apple is down, Walmart is down, which was also on our watch list, and a whole lot of other stocks are down. Pretty much everything on my watch list is down except for the stocks that I have in my portfolio. So I'm confident that we got some good picks in right now. I'm confident that these picks will make us some money. All right. So once again, I want to thank y'all for checking out the Money Mix. My name is DJ Dre. I will see you in the next episode. Make sure you check out those mixes too. Definitely. Make sure you check out those mixes over there in the DJ booth early in the morning, 9 a.m. in the morning. I start off with that Money Mix. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you comment. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. Once again, it's the Money Mix, and I will see you guys in the next episode.